that would be her 6th.
This is Angel Reese. And no, she's not yelling at the water girl for going too light on the electrolytes. That is her coach. Now, heated exchanges happen all the time in sports. It comes with the territory. It's a sign that players care, and sometimes emotions boil over. But getting in your coach's face like that in the middle of a game, the kids are watching, Angel. Aren't you their role model? More on that in a minute. But first, here's what happened. In an unrivaled matchup between the Rose and the Lunar Owls, all 34 fans in attendance got the full Angel Reese experience. A double-double, random dancing, arguing with her coach, taunting fans, and a tearful post-game speech about how hard it is to be Angel Reese.
It's so much I can say, but I think for me, to keep going, it's hard. It is hard. To live my life isn't easy.
Yup, Angel had the Kleenex on standby as she, once again, got emotional about the challenges of being Angel Reese. And, like clockwork, social media pounced.
Here I come. Oh, here I come.
Fans lit her up. On a night where she threw down a 2020, Angel was once again being talked about for all the wrong reasons. But here's the thing, this isn't a one-off. It keeps happening. Look, Angel Reese is a larger-than-life star, a big personality. She commands attention, she asks for it, she thrives in the spotlight, courts controversy, and turns every moment into a headline. And because attention is a double-edged sword, she also gets blowback. And when that backlash hits, the tears flow. Suddenly, the conversation shifts. Now it's about how hard it is to be Angel Reese, how much criticism she gets, how unfair it all feels. At times, she's fine with playing the bad guy.
And just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history.
But other times, like this, she's clearly upset about it.
And I just try to stand strong. I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times.
But yet, history keeps repeating itself, which begs the question, why does this keep happening to Angel? Is she oblivious to cause and effect? Or are fans being too tough on her? Stick around, watch what happened, let's take a brief history lesson, and you be the judge. And don't forget to like this video, and let me know how you feel about Angel's antics in the comments. So here's what happened. In her unrivaled game against the Lunar Owls, she fouled out. She didn't feel it was a foul, and then went nuts on her coach to get her to challenge the call.
And that would be her 6th.
Now, here's the funny part I haven't seen anyone talk about. Her coach, Nola Henry, was mic'd up so you can hear everything. Watch this.
She's trying to convince her head coach to challenge.
You've got to give it to Nola here. It took every ounce of her being to keep a straight face through all this and not roll her eyes. I know Angel had a 2020 night, but Nola wins player of the game for that alone. But wait, it gets funnier. Check out Angel right before this all went down.
They've resigned themselves to the fact that the likelihood of it being overturned is probably...
Now, I can't read lips, but look at the face on her other coach. What are you doing? Where are we? Are we playing basketball or on vacation in Cabo with your girlfriends? And then, after the Rose won, she taunted all 12 of the fans in the crowd. Now, if Angel knows how to do anything, it's taunt. It's what made her famous. As always, social media went crazy. Some fans loved it and said it was just part of the game. Reese has swagger, confidence, and passion. Why would she try to tone these things down? And for the record, I don't mind that she's having fun and bringing energy, but the screaming at your coach part was what really set people off. Some people said it was nothing, just basketball. But the consensus, and I'm putting it nicely, was that she was out of line. This is especially true if you haven't fully proven yourself at the professional level yet. Not trying to say Travis Kelce was justified here, but the guy is a future Hall of Famer who has won 3 Super Bowls. But even then, many thought this was unacceptable as well and thought he should just shake it off. See what I did there? Anyway, if yelling at her coach didn't set people off, her post-game press conference did the trick. Here's what happened. When asked about posting a double-double in front of Notre Dame basketball players, she got teary-eyed when talking about pushing through the hate and how her job is hard and that she's trying to be the role model she knows she is.
To keep going, it's hard. It is hard. To live my life isn't easy. And I don't want to get emotional, but that's why I put the work in every day, because like there are little girls that look up to me. There are the college girls that look up to me.
And with that, we got the complete Angel Reese experience. She did something controversial, then complained about the hate she gets for doing controversial things. It's kind of like an arsonist complaining about smoke. Here's the thing. Angel built her brand on confidence and attitude. Whether it was the Caitlin Clark taunt in the NCAA championship, her daring fashion choices, or her posts on social media. That was a big part of what made her a star. She has a massive social media following. For all the hate I've talked about, she gets a ton of love. It's not like she's got 4.7 million followers and they're all haters. From a business standpoint, brands love her edge. She gets paid very, very well. Reese doesn't seem to mind being the center of attention when she's cashing checks. The way she plays, acts, and uses social media all help her get attention. But for all the love she gets and the wealth it generates, she has a real problem with the flip side. Stephen A. said it best.
She's a beautiful young lady. And there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA. But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on.
If you put yourself out there and try to get attention, some of it's going to be negative. Again, I personally don't care how she acts. She's getting attention and she's making bank. You've got to give it to her for capitalizing on her personality. She's one of the most bankable female athletes in America. It's her complaining about the negative side of fame that's the problem. It reminds me of when Homer Simpson was crying about the death of his pet lobster, Pinchy, as he was eating him. At some point, she's got to decide, am I going to be the bad guy and make millions knowing there will be hate, some of it objective and justified and some of it downright cruel, or do I tone it down and be less marketable? She could be one of the biggest and most marketable stars in women's sports for years to come if she embraces her persona and at the same time continues to improve her game. I mean, every great story needs a villain, and basketball has plenty. Sometimes it's their attitude, sometimes it's their swagger, and sometimes it's just the choices they make. When you're a professional athlete on the big stage, there's nowhere to hide. The same fans who make you famous will be the first to turn on you. Take Kevin Durant. To some, he's a cold-blooded scorer, one of the greatest to ever do it. To others, he's the ultimate snake. Leaving OKC to join a 73-win Warriors team, that was enough to make him public enemy number one. Then came the burner accounts, the Twitter beefs, and the never-ending debates about whether his rings really count. Love him or hate him, KD stays in the conversation. Then there's LeBron James. He's had multiple villain arcs throughout his career. The decision turned him into the most hated man in basketball overnight. The Miami Heat super team, that made it even worse. The flopping, the ref complaints, the over-the-top reactions, it's all fuel for the fire. And just when the hate started dying down, he packed up and took his talents to Hollywood. And then you have Draymond Green. If there's an all-time NBA villain list, he's on it. The trash talk, the technical fouls, the kicks. Draymond plays the game with zero fear of being the bad guy. He's the heart of the Warriors dynasty. But if you're not a Golden State fan, odds are you can't stand him. Patrick Beverley, if he's on your team, he's a dog. If he's not, he's the most annoying player in the league. Pat Bev doesn't just play defense. He gets in your face, talks nonstop, and thrives on making opponents miserable. Cheap shots, taunting, and hard fouls. That's just a normal Tuesday for him. And then there's James Harden, the king of flopping, foul hunting, and stepbacks. His game is effective, but it's also one of the most frustrating to watch, especially if you're on the other side. Rockets fans loved him. Everyone else, not so much. And when he wanted out of Houston, then Brooklyn, then Philly, the quitter label followed him everywhere. But here's the thing, these guys don't care. They make their choices, they play their way, and they live with the consequences, which includes having a lot of fans and making millions, not just hate. In sports, as a celebrity, you either embrace the hate or let it break you. Angel Reese fits this mold perfectly. A larger-than-life personality, always in the spotlight, always a talking point. And with that kind of attention, yeah, not everyone's gonna like it. When you get the headlines, you also get the magnifying glass. People aren't just watching, you're getting analyzed, scrutinized, and debated in real time. And with Angel, that extends to every part of her game. Take her finishing at the rim, for example. Let's be honest, it's objectively bad. Statistically, she's one of the worst finishers in the WNBA. The numbers don't lie, and yet, because she's Angel Reese, every missed layup becomes a conversation. Players miss shots all the time, but when it's her, it's proof that she's overrated, that she's not as good as the hype. And then there's the whole stat padding controversy. The argument, she racks up rebounds by catching her own misses. Technically, yeah, it's a rebound, but when people see those double-doubles, they start questioning how legit they are. Is it hustle? Is it just inflating numbers? Again, this kind of debate only happens when you're a player people care about. But let's be real, that's exactly why she makes the money she does. Why she's got the biggest social media following in the WNBA. Why brands line up to work with her, because she makes people pay attention. Whether you love her or can't stand her, you're watching, you're clicking, you're talking about her. The Lisa Leslie comments about Angel's layups are the perfect example of the position she puts herself in.
In my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
Lisa wasn't coming from a place of hate. She was giving real, constructive advice. She straight up said Angel needs to fix her layups, and Angel got eaten alive on social media for it. I mean, let's be real, that's kind of embarrassing. It's one thing for fans to call out your weaknesses, but when an NBA legend, one of the greatest players ever, points it out, that stings. And the reaction online? Brutal. But here's the thing, this all happened on Angel's podcast. She invited it. She could have just had a private conversation with Lisa, a phone call, a training session, some one-on-one advice. Instead, she did it in the public eye, where everyone could hear it, dissect it, and react to it. That's the reality of who Angel Reese is. She doesn't do anything quietly. She's not moving in silence. She's making sure everything is seen, whether it's a fashion statement, a viral moment, or even criticism about her game. And that's the trade-off. When you put yourself out there this much, the world isn't just watching, it's judging. Here's the reality. Angel Reese is only 22 years old. It's easy to forget that with how much attention she gets, how much money she's making, and how loud the conversation around her is. But the fame, the pressure, the constant wave of criticism, that's a lot for anyone. Even if she knows it's all part of the game, even if she understands that the attention is what's making her rich, that doesn't make it easy. This is the cage she's stuck in. She built her brand on personality, on being bold, on being unapologetic. And the thing about personality, the blowback is always personal. If you're just a quiet, no-nonsense hooper, the criticism stays about the game. She needs to work on her finishing. She's struggling defensively. That's where it ends. But when you're larger than life, when you talk big, when you embrace the spotlight, it's different. Now, the criticism isn't just about the game. It's about you, your attitude, your mindset, your character. And once you open that door, you can't close it. She's always going to be the player under the microscope. Every miss, every reaction, every viral moment, it all becomes a debate. So, where does Angel go from here? Well, she can't go backward. That's not how this works. The brand is built, the spotlight is locked in, and once you become that player, the one people debate, love, hate, and argue about daily, there's no turning it off. If she suddenly changed, toned it down, stopped talking, stopped showing emotion, she'd also become less marketable. Angel Reese is a divisive sports figure, and we're watching it all unfold in real time. She's entitled to her feelings, just like the fans are entitled to their opinions. And it's not all negative. Lexi Hull, her unrivaled teammate, has praised her energy and presence. She's got a new crop of veterans around her this year in Chicago, winners who have been through the ups and downs of this league. Hopefully, that presence helps her mature, helps her process things better, and helps her navigate the reality of being a polarizing star in professional sports. Because here's the truth, no one's going to feel bad for her. She's not getting much sympathy for crying foul about negative attention, not when she's making millions off that very attention. The WNBA, after all, is sink or swim. Now, not financially, let's be real. The NBA has been keeping this league afloat for 3 decades. But in terms of legacy, in terms of respect, in terms of proving she belongs among the best, that's on her. She's one of the faces of the league. She's making the money, and with that comes expectations. She's young, but at this level, there's no grace period. You either grow up fast or you get left behind. So the real question isn't will she ever learn? It's what will she learn? Will she learn to embrace her persona, own the controversy, and thrive in it? Or will she let it consume her? That part, that's up to her. If you're here, drop a basketball emoji in the comments to say hi. Thanks for watching.